Hey folks, Positive Paul, and here we are, Black Friday 2020, November 27th, 2020, and I tell you, I was struggling trying to do that Peter's second epistle video, trying to be PC, choose my words carefully, and, hey, I'm going to go back to what works best for me. And this will be one of my famous all over the map videos, but we are going to tie it into Peter's second epistle. Now we know in the beginning of Peter's second epistle, chapter 1, famously about the mockers and scoffers that will come in the last days. We know all about them. Now, the real point concerning Peter's epistle is the holy conversation that we try to have with each other upon the spirit within you being awakened, your realization of the connection to the Heavenly Father and His Son, Jesus. And this is how we do it, folks. Only Positive Paul can do this, and I appreciate everybody's efforts in this very difficult task, exposing, again, I stop and hold my tongue. So we know who we're looking at here. Howard Stern, in case you don't know. And this is interesting because I have never seen the horizontal slit eye. Now, Howard is a human that has crossed over to the other side. Now, with that being said, let's get into a small biography. You know, Howard, he went to college up in Boston somewhere. His first disc jockey job was out in Detroit, and they called him Hop-Along Howie on a country station, where he apparently was being paid $96 a week. Now, according to Private Parts, which we know what that is, that's his movie, his biography, put in movie format. But back then, Howard was trying to figure out where he was going to fit into society. He was being mocked, ridiculed, and, one person stood behind him, and that was his wife. And God bless her. So they end up in D.C., and he begins to change the whole face of radio. And what ends up happening is that his act became too much, and he was fired from his job. He had begged Robin to come to New York with him, as he had an offer from the flame thrower known as 77 WABC. And he arrives in New York, and at that time, this would have been the early 80s, we know that a man by the name of Imus was one of the, let's put it this way, guys in charge. Now, a young Howard Stern, upon arriving, thought that maybe he could get some advice from someone at that time that he may have looked up to or not. I'm not sure. I think he knocks on Imus's door. Imus answers and tells him to get lost. Essentially, do not come back. Now, the emotional effect that would have on anybody when you try to approach somebody you have respect for, if that was the case, is pretty damaging. But what Howard turns around and does is he begins to scorch the radio waves. And within a short period of time, knocks Don Imus off the #1 slot of WABC. Now, this sent Imus into a tizzy. Now, we're not going to focus on Howard too much, but we're talking about the holy conversation. What is Howard known for? Making fun of people. Now, we all know when we get in, You know, the gals are hanging out, the guys are hanging out, we joke around, we want to laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. We've been told that, folks. But it comes at the expense sometimes of other people. And here's the point. Now, Don Imus passed away last year on December 27th, 2019. You know, here he is with his sidekick, Molly Ringwald. And, you know, if you had watched Imus towards the end, it was pretty pathetic. And we'll just leave it at that. So what I'm gonna show you is, now Howard was the trailblazer, and all these jokers followed after him. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm doing this concerning Howard is about maybe five or so years ago, maybe more. Well, we know famously that he left terrestrial radio to go to satellite. If anybody remembers that Sirius satellite was going to be the best investment, blah, blah, blah. And what happened? They were stuck at 1, 2, 3, 4 for, I mean, years. And XM and Sirius had to join forces, or else, you know, I guess pack it up. But here's the point, folks. And I've been sitting on this for a while. Now, one of Howard's employees, who is known as Artie Lang, comedian, all right, he is doing the Opie show. Now, I don't know if this is Anthony. I'm not sure who he is. There was an Opie and Anthony. I think it's just Opie now on Sirius. But what you're going to see is, you're going to see how the entertainment industry from top to bottom is full of Draco hybrids. And there's a reason for that. Now, let's real quick, kids, go over some of the attributes of a Draco hybrid. The children of Cain, the children of you-know-who. Now, as it relates to the hybrid breeding program after World War II, we certainly know that if you're born after World War II and you're a Draco hybrid, well, God help you, let's put it that way. But I always ask myself, all the ones that came before, and did God-fearing people, God-fearing Christians, back in the Middle Ages, back whenever, back in Jesus' time, when these, you know, reptilians, all right, were around them, did they understand that due to the enmity, due to the, you know, come on, folks, Jeremiah 31:27, right? Sowing of the seed with beast and man. Come on, Daniel 2:43. They will not cleave to one another. And the point to all this is, Howard apparently was the most generous person to anybody he came in contact, specifically his employees. Once he got on satellite, some changes took place, and the vultures swooped in and surrounded him, and his way of thinking was changed. Now, here we are in a 2016 Opie show, and the premise is that Howard had essentially let some of his long-standing employees go. He threw them under the bus, and as Artie put it, they spilt a lot of blood for this person, and they were calling Artie or whoever to get in touch with Howard because these people were becoming homeless, broke, hungry, unable to get a job. All they wanted was a reference, and Howard ignored them. So the complaints piled up on Howard, and now you're looking at a show where the little baby Draco hybrid Opie, all right, is they're yucking it up. Now, let's see what I want to show you this. Remember how I told you about the splotchy skin and what I call the old TV effect with the lines. If you can look at that, and this trust me, it's going to get better, folks. All right. We'll just start off with that. There's Opie. That's who he is. He's a Draco hybrid. When you look at him, and if you know what you're looking at, you'll pick these people out all day long, a mile away. So here's Opie. As you know, they're having a laugh on Howard. As what do I tell you, folks? We know about the slit eye, but the lips and the hands, where the electromagnetic distortion takes place. Now, when a human is on video and they're making rapid movements with their arms and hands, yes, there can be some distortion, but there's a way to, you know, separate one from another, okay? Now, right here, you can see the transparency on Opie, okay, on his hand. And it almost, look at it, it's almost like it's going to turn into a claw, which we know about that. We know all about that, okay? Now, here he is again. Look at the electromagnetic distortion on his fingers. Sometimes I'll call it the sawtooth effect, and I have better, you know, I've got better photos of other Draco hybrids to show that, but it's the sawtooth effect. Now, here's his sidekick. And look at his eyeballs, the wackadoodle eyeballs. What do I tell you, folks? All right. Now here he is again. Three-finger Louie, folks. Look at this. He joined the Three-Finger Louie Club. Let's keep moving because it's going to get better. Now here's Artie. This is Artie Lang. And what he's doing right now is he's telling the story and how he got connected with Howard. And as a young kid, you know, his father was messed up. You know, he wasn't a good dad. And according to Artie, the only two things that he had with his father was Howard Stern and the New York Yankees. So one day they are going, you know, to work, and Artie's dad invites him along. All right. His dad's a roofing contractor, and on that particular morning, they needed a ladder. Now, according